The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 194th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Somewhat's. I'm the host of this lovely show, and joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Floyd Johnson Jr. I kind of have a good idea how you're doing, though, because I literally saw you just last night. But how are you doing, man?
Dude. Okay. So, right now, I'm not tired. I imagine in a couple hours after being awake, I'm going to be tired. But I'm doing great. I thought it was a great weekend, and it's funny. We were just talking about how, your experiences can be completely different from someone else's experiences and how that'll play into everything. So I'm looking forward to that, but I'm happy I'm back. I'm back home. I'm back to the grind, but because I have like a busy next few weeks. So it's like I'm home, but I'm like, it's almost like, home is just a stop until my next thing, which is my birthday is in, if y'all want to go ahead and bless your boy.
Right.
My birthday's in 12 days, June 10th, 2024. I will be 42 years old. Beautiful 42 years old. But, dude, let me tell you, awesome weekend. I got to hang with James, my boy James from the UK.
Yeah, shout out James.
James, got to hang with him. Always good to see him. Got to hang with your family. Your mom and dad are awesome. They are
Yes.
they are awesome. It was like we spent like a couple hours last night talking. That was the first, time I got to talk to. Round out, we have just a lot in common, so that's pretty cool. And it was a good time. It was a good time. Again, thank you and your family for taking care of me and James yesterday.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that. It was amazing. We just wasn't expecting it at all. So it was great day, great weekend. I had no complaints.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm struggling too, because on top of me coming off of Double or Nothing, I also saw Bruno Mars the night before, so my voice is shot. I'm holding it together as much as possible. Both nights were outstanding and amazing. Of course, as Floyd said, I got to see my boy Floyd once again, hung out with him all Double or Nothing day, and also hung out with him for FanFest. We'll mention some stuff about that as well. And, of course, my good buddy and friend Jared O'Brien, known as the Tune-Up on YouTube, if you want to check him out. That's my dude. I first met him last year at Double or Nothing 2022 in person for the first time after knowing him online for years. And now I got to see him again. All three of us me, Sydney, Floyd, and James, and Jared all hung out basically before the show. And then me and Jared and Sydney were together watching the show up in the Upper Bowl. And it was just awesome getting everybody together. It's like the most weird, dysfunctional thing where it's like only wrestling could bind these people together that have completely different backgrounds, but we're bonded together with wrestling and a few other things as well. So just we took a great picture at Hard Rock actually, that I'm going to make sure we send that to you also. I'm going to send that to you and Jared. But it was amazing. So yeah, a ton of fun, and we're going to get into the entire weekend and how our time went, including giving our review of AEW Double or Nothing 2023. But before we get, into everything, I want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts. And if you listen to us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen to us, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. And also follow us so you don't miss a single episode. Also, leave a rating and a review. It does help out the show. And it does help us know what you guys want from us for future episodes. But you can also follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod on social media. Also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible and also have a bunch of amazing shows on their network. I am at Austin Szumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. I want to get into like the stuff that we did at FanFest, but I also want to mention too, Floyd, because you had a pretty scalding take last episode, and that take I will read verbatim. This was a take made by you that I absolutely co-sign. I'm so glad that you were the one that came out with the take and not me, because otherwise I would get ripped to shreds being like, fuck you, you're just a fanboy. But instead, I got you vouching for this take. You said last week, word for word, verbatim, that CM Punk sold more tickets to a TV show than the Elite could sell for a pay-per-view. And the reason why I'm bringing that take up again is that, now, granted, some wrestling fans are stupid. They constantly want to show the area over by where the hard cam is, like basically where the camera is for hard cam, and be like, see, they can't sell anything. Those sections are always empty, including for WWE. Y'all are stupid. Go to wrestling shows and actually figure out how this shit works. It's constantly like that. That's not the problem. The problem was because we were in the upper bowl, like hard cams, like facing. Well, the hard cam was facing us, and we were in the upper bowl in the top middle first row. And we could see across to the other side of the upper bowl, and it was tarped off. I remember last year, packed to the gills every section. Just saying, Floyd's take has merit, because T-Mobile Arena, I'm sorry to say, it was a wonderful show, and we're going to get into everything. That place was not like it was last year. And there were talks about tickets and how they weren't selling that great. We saw firsthand, tarped off upper bowl, still got a great amount of people in the building, and it was loud and it was kicking, but it wasn't like last year. I just got to say that.
Yeah,
Boy, you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this. I mean, everything you just said was true. The general excitement for this show wasn't where AEW pay-per-views, like AEW pay-per-views have had issues where the card might not look great, but they're going to show up or whatever. But my general excitement for the show, even I have a little Facebook group that I'm in called The Club. It was just like, everybody just thought of this as skippable. Everybody was like, I don't got the money for this. Everybody's like, I don't do this. And I will tell you this. If you are interested, if people are interested, somehow they find the money. You know what I mean? If they want, it's like if they want to see it, they find the money. It's simple. It was like, oh, UFC's going to ESPN Plus, and they're you're gonna pay that fee plus $79.99, and no one's gonna buy it. And then guess what? Every time people buy it, because there is a product they want to see, and you want to buy it. Right now, this is probably the lowest the sentiment has been on the AEW product in a long time, and that's from everyone else. Me. Just being me, I love it. I'm loving every week. I'm blah, blah, that kind of thing. I have a few complaints here and there, but in general, it's still my favorite product. Not because I do a show. It's just they tell wrestling the way I prefer wrestling being told.
Right.
Don't give me, like it's not because I do this show. It was like, it's because I just genuinely like AEW more. But yeah, the buzz, there was no buzz for this show. Even with the Elite and BCC being announced, Anarchy in an Arena, it got a little excitement. I really did think it would sell, like it would, that number would spike based on
right.
that.
I thought the same thing. I thought that was gonna what sent it over the top.
But I'm
just to start flowing in.
Las Vegas Memorial Day weekend's not cheap. It's not cheap.
It's not
out there. It used to be like you just had this you have the hardcore fan base is still there. I still see all the people, the heels, the women of the heels. I mean, and you, of course. But some people that I'm used to seeing every year didn't make the trip this time. Of course, I'm not going to say any names. That's not my business to say. But yeah, they just didn't make the trip because with prices kind of going up, and not really having any hot feuds to be a part of, that was an issue. And now when people tell me AEW, I will throw this out there that I hear a lot, that AEW fans want AEW talent pushed, right? They want the AEW homegrowns pushed. Stop bringing in guys and pushing them to the main event, blah, blah, blah. Well, the basic main event of this show was 4 AEW homegrown guys on the show. And, for the most part, people didn't show up for it. And I'm just like, does that mean that's just something you're saying? Is that just lip service? I don't know. It's not for me to say or not, but I'm saying the numbers from this, the ratings from the show, and my buy rate, I have not heard a number. I haven't listened to Meltzer or anything.
It's too early, yeah, because we're recording this the Monday after.
Yes, but I'm going to say general consensus from the people I know, everybody that's usually on the fence that I know in the Floyd's world, which is the most minuscule, section that you can take. It is not enough to count, but everyone I know chose not to buy this. In my club, there was 4 comments on the show. There's usually 50 to 100 on an AEW show. There was 4 comments on our thread.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're gonna get into all the
I was just like,
there's things that people that this happened on the show that we want to talk about for sure. And again, numbers are one thing, but what the show did is a completely different thing. So we're gonna get into all of that.
Yeah.
But also, we did AEW Fan Fest. I will quickly go through my whole spiel on Fan Fest. This was my first time doing a Fan Fest in Las Vegas. Literally since StarCast 2 went for the first Double or Nothing. Gotta say, considering that gap, you can see the difference between those types of things, obviously. They are significantly different. But I will say, the FanFest had some good stuff. Getting to see actual, just full-on gameplay of Fight Forever got me hyped. Also, -1 is the biggest trash talker I've ever seen. That dude wouldn't stop talking and yelling at Aubrey in the back for not counting in the video game faster, which she agreed on, being like, yeah, they didn't mocap me at all. I should have been like that position, counting like this. And I just loved how they were getting in the weeds with it. But yeah, seeing the Fight Forever game looked great. Has me so hyped for it when it comes out on June 29th. I'm going to get that immediately. Probably going to set up my pre-order pretty soon, actually. And then also I got to meet a good amount of people that I hadn't met yet. I got to meet Adam Cole. Crazy, I haven't met him before. We got the podcast, All Things Elite, finally together, me and Floyd meeting Dax and Cash, FTR. That was dope. And we also got, you'll probably see it as we put it as our new Twitter profile picture. We got a trading card of ourselves, and it looks awesome. And a couple other things, too. I saw the brand new CM Punk LJN figure that they're debuting. Holy shit. That looks so fucking cool. A lot of the figures they showed, too. Danhausen's looks amazing. Yuta got a figure. There's a lot of stuff to look out for if you're a big AEW figure collector. I know Floyd is, and I know a lot of our fans are. And then also got to meet Jade, got to meet the Hardys, got to meet Taya Valkyrie, Sky Blue. I got to meet a lot of guys, a lot of people. Wardlow, and then also got to meet just a ton of people. But my experience was a ton of fun. And then I would pass it off to Floyd. Talk about yours, because you've been to a lot more fan fests recently as opposed to me. Because, like I said, in Vegas, my last fan thing was StarCast 2. Significantly different.
All right, I'm going to talk about everything positive. I'm not going to talk about anything negative until the end. I am going to be giving the realistic part of it. Definitely enjoyed the show. Enjoyed FanFest. I love all the people that work behind the scenes. I've gotten to know quite a few of them. They work hard to make sure you're getting your money's worth and having a good show. So it was good seeing everybody. All the wrestlers are always, like really nice and just always looking out for us. So I got Taya Valkyrie, and she's awesome. I didn't get to tell her because I was trying to get through and let everybody else get through. That was the first time I met her since I actually worked the Oklahoma City Independent show, and I met her at that show. Then Ethan Page, and I got to talk to him about figures, and I told him I'm meeting Kit Harington in July, and I said I'm going to try to get a Remember the North shirt going for the Kit Harington thing, because, they were called the North, Game of Thrones North, all that stuff. Wardlow was awesome as usual. Wardlow's a very quiet person. I love that man.
He is a very quiet person.
He does not have a lot to say. Jade is amazing. She is just like you feel the it when you're around her. You know
it's hysterical, dude. Like she even made a comment to me. She mistakenly thought that I had already taken a picture with her, which I hadn't. She's like, "Didn't I already get a picture with you?" And I was like, "Oh no." I made a joking comment being like, "I get it. I look like every other white boy." She's like, "That's not what I said." And it's just, you can just feel like just the way she talks, like this person needs to be on camera 24/7. She's one of those people that just like, it's understandable why everyone wants to watch her.
Yes. And of course I got my pick with my best friend Willow and the king of Cinnabon. Happy birthday today, May 29th. You probably won't hear this show until May 30th, but May 29th is the king of Cinnabon's birthday. My guy. I hope he had a big old Cinnabon today. Konosuke Takeshita. Y'all will understand
that was
why.
A shock when we just saw him out of nowhere all of a sudden, because we took a picture with Emi Sakura and then we turn around and we go like over to the figures. Then we turn back and it's Takeshita, and you caught it immediately. And
so I was walking up to take a picture with Emmy, and they switched, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
We got in as soon as possible, and good thing we did because that line was mega long soon as that's what was going on.
Because I was like the first person to get a picture with him. If you go to the AEW Japan Twitter, it's me and Takeshita right there.
It's so cool.
Yes. So, and then of course Jay White, who's amazing. I told him he needs to teach MJF how to be a proper villain. He kind of laughed at that. Sky Blue. Then Sid took a picture with me when we did Jamie Hayter, who was awesome, and I told her I expected her to keep the title. We'll talk about how that worked out in a second. and then Ruby, and I love Ruby. I just think she's amazing energy there. And so got her to sign it, and she was impressed. She was like, "Oh, you brought your own pen?" I was like, "Yes, I like pink. I like the pink pen." So no, everybody was great. Got to see Cash and Dax, and first time. This is the picture I've been waiting on. Like, other than Austin being in it, Cash and Dax won their tag team belts at All Out 2020. Lost them at Full Gear 2021, which is like the shortest. I think it was one of the shortest title reigns ever. And because of that, of course, they weren't doing meet and greets during the pandemic. So I never got a picture with them with the belts. So me and Austin got the pictures with them in the belts, and it's great. They also like looking at me, and I had lost a lot of weight, and they were all about that. And
you and Cash had matching T-shirts.
And me and Cash wore matching T-shirts, and then Dax is always there, and always like, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna see you again soon," because yes, I show up every time they show up, and that's awesome. Yes. But yes, so no, it was amazing. I've met most of these wrestlers, 3 or 4 times a piece at this point. That's not a brag. It's to say it's worth meeting them again. For sure. I'm one of those people. I do value my money. I know I spend it a lot and everybody sees, but I do. I will not pay for an experience unless I'm getting an experience. There are certain wrestlers that unless I'm getting something signed that I specifically want signed to put up on my wall or something, I probably won't meet again because they don't say anything. A couple of them just grunt at you. A couple of them So I did get to ask. You and Sid got the picture with OC, but I got to ask him had he seen the Fast and the Furious movie, and it was funny because you could see kind of his eyes open a little bit, and he's like, yes, but he was still like very much in character. I felt like he wanted to talk about it, but yeah. I was like, it was like, so as everyone might know about this, Fast and the Furious is my favorite movie series of all time, and that is. With that, I'm going to use that later on talk about this show. But I had a great time. Saw the people. Saw Grillo. I saw Dean. Saw Chrissy. Mrs. Matt. All security. Dave. Sam. Like everybody there. Like everybody that has pretty much become like. I know. Not a fan. Don't work. I mean, I'm a fan. Don't work there or anything. But kind of like that extended family thing. As when I go, I expect to see them. At the event, I expect to see them at the show, and just kind of a familiarity with it. And it's great. And it was really cool. I met the boss, the driver. I met him because we're always in the same circle, but we never actually got to get to talk. Got to talk to him. He was really cool. I've never really met anybody at the AEW thing that wasn't cool. Now, I have to do the honest part, the negatives about it. Meet and greets, I think about 20% more expensive, right? And that's the thing. You're in Vegas. Food costs more money. Hotels cost more money. Everything costs more money, right?
Yep.
The one thing we don't want to have to charge for, especially when you've met a lot of people, is charge more money. That leads me to my second point. Pretty much the same people at every meet and greet. Mm-hmm. You're not getting the Young Bucks. You're not getting Kenny. You're not getting Jericho. With MJF. Not going last year, I thought it was a slam dunk he was going to be in this year. Just to make up for some of the people that flew in to meet him and all that kind of stuff. No MJF, right? You have Mox. Mox always there. Bryan Danielson always there. Believe me, I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth. They are amazing for always being there. They have tons of fans. House of Black, always there. Amazing. Anna Jay. I could tell you that Sammy and Tay, all the people that are always there, because guess what? They're always there. Mm-hmm. Somewhere like Vegas, that is always more expensive. You need bigger names to draw. Even when we did it being an AEW fan fest, you might even bring some people in that have worked with AEW that are not necessarily AEW. Like Sabu had already been announced for the show, right? Why not do an AEW meet and greet with Sabu? The free meet and greets are awesome, but there was other ways to draw to the show. I know Dark and Elevation doesn't exist, but let's put a ring up and do a few matches or something like that. Things give people a reason to come, not just for the meet and greets, and do some meet and greets, some ultra VIP meet and greets. Dude, you could literally name your price on Kenny Omega at this point. Mm-hmm. You want to say, hey.
The only thing they did that was honestly VIP was what they did with Jade, where you got access to her new figure immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Did she sign that?
Yes. The Shop AEW figure. That's amazing, and that you could buy it there. I'm like, I am not complaining about FanFest because I am one of the few people that have been to every FanFest. I've not missed one. So when I say this, they're largely like they were the first. They're not really evolving. You know what I mean? And again, when you're somewhere like Vegas, Chicago, it's going to sell out. People are going to go to Chicago, right? Yeah. That's fine. But you got all these people that don't do it that often that you can use, and it's like, and especially I would line it up with figures. Series 12 just came out. How's Private Party not doing a meet and greet?
Yeah.
They just literally had a figure come out. I'm like, I got all my figures signed except Private Party. And then the last thing, they decided to go through Access. That is, as far as getting tickets and stuff, it's amazing. But the great thing is you went through the Shop AEW or the AEW live events, and guess what you didn't have to pay?
Fees.
I paid $200 in fees for mine. That's my House of Black meet and greet that I didn't do. It's just like I could have done that based on the $200 in fees. So, like I said, I'm just trying to be a realistic fan. Again, I will always say this. I will never complain about the prices going up because, again, what you get, let's say for $100, you get one item signed. You get the 8x10, the Double or Nothing specific 8x10. You know, you're only going to get this one at Double or Nothing, right?
Yeah.
You get whatever item you want to sign, whether it be figure, belt, or whatever. They don't upcharge you for the figures or anything there. You can even tell them what you want. Most of them will will add an inscription to it. That's good. And then you get a picture with your cell phone. Again, if you go to WrestleCon, it is, and let's just say they're cheap. It's still $50 for an autograph, $50 for a picture. Maybe they'll do the combo for $80, right? And then you want to add a autograph. That's another $50. That's $130 if you were going to WrestleCon. And at AEW, it's $100. The only difference is, like, where at WrestleCon you can say, I just want this autographed. You can't do that. Or I just want this picture. You can't do that. It's all in one. So you are getting at least a decent value for what you're paying for. But it's like I said, adding the fees thing, that was an extra, just like, I wouldn't call it a hidden cost. It's the cost you usually pay for tickets, but it kind of sucked. You know what I mean? That you don't usually have to pay it, and it becomes off as an extra cost. So I don't know. A positive experience. I feel like everyone should attend these, but instead of prices going up in Vegas, they should probably go the other way. And you should try, because we're paying for hotels. We're paying for food. Like, I will tell everybody, I went to Nathan's, and I was just like, man, let's have this breakfast. And it was $14.99. You got pancakes, potatoes, eggs, and bacon. Great. $14.99. And I was like, okay. And then they was like, and I grabbed a water that was right there to drink. The water was $4.99. That's $20. Oh, you want a tip? Somebody's bringing me for my food. I'm going to do that. I throw on a 15% tip. With tax, I spent $27 on breakfast. And that was me thinking that was a cheap breakfast.
Exactly.
So Vegas, there's so many fees going everywhere else. Hopefully AEW looks out for the people in that case. Of course, again, look, I'm not expecting them to be like asking Floyd how much to charge for everything. But, you know, very much, I always said AEW, the thing that built them is that all those fans' experiences were fan-friendly. Their stuff was on the cheaper side, whether it be tickets, meet and greets, and all that stuff was on the cheaper side. So you felt like you could do more or at least meet the people that you want to. A lot of people I know that go no matter what passed this time. Just financially, they just couldn't afford it. So it's like I said, I'm grassroots. I'm there. I'm talking to people. If anybody knows me, I will talk to anyone. So when I'm talking to people, it's not to collect information, but I do collect information. And it was just like, I know why people aren't going to certain things. I know, and I don't know what the turnout was. I don't ask the numbers. I don't ask for anything, but there's a few ways that they could improve in the future. Now, I do get to tell my magical story, the thing that made my day, and then we'll go on to the review.
Sounds good.
Between session 3 and 4, I didn't do anything in session 3. I had no one in session 3. Standing, I have been working out a lot. I'm in way better shape. But standing all day is different from walking. So I was a little tired between session 3. I went and sat over in the section by Jazzwares, and there was this guy just standing there. I thought I had met him before, but I didn't remember. And once he said his name, I realized I had met him before. But I was like, so do you? I see, just seems in there. It's like, so do you go around to and talk about wrestling figures or figures and all that stuff? He's like, no, I'm actually one of the designers. I'm like, all right. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. I never really collected until AEW. That was my first thing. I've collected, all the series, all that stuff. They're on my wall, that kind of thing. And I asked him, I was like, did you have anything to do with the Ricky Starks chase? That's my favorite figure. Lo and behold, he was like, I didn't design it, but I was in charge of the concept. He came up with the concept for the chase. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's my favorite figure. It's pretty much the centerpiece on my wall, which it's right there. And because I have 30 on my wall, and it's one of the 30 because I really love that figure. It's my favorite figure. We talked about how many chase figures I had and all that kind of stuff. Just chatting. He's like, hold on, wait a second. And I was like, okay. So I sat there. I just thought he was going to get me like a lanyard or some thing for Jazzwares to say or whatever, because it was obvious he was going to get me some. He brings me back a Series 12 Jon Moxley chase and just gives it to me.
So freaking cool. So cool.
Just Series 12 Jon Moxley chase. I had just gotten Series 12. Shit, I had half of Series 12 signed at the event. So they were in my big ass bag. So it was like, everything I was doing was right there. And he did that, and he didn't have to. Thank you, Magic. I'm 110% sure you will never hear this show. But just in case you do, he's awesome. And I was like, thank you. You made my day. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, all these days are amazing, but you really just made my day. I was like, are you our hugger? And he's like, yeah. And I gave him a hug. I was like, dude, you are amazing. Thank you. 'Cause I was just genuinely wasn't expecting that.
And look, we give Floyd a lot of crap because me and Cindy always joke about how like this dude will talk the ear off of anybody who will listen, and he is not afraid to talk to anybody. Now you understand why he does such things, because then randomly some things like this will happen.
Yeah,
just out of the blue, random.
And I will tell you, it was came from a genuine place. I just wanted to tell the man he did a good job.
Absolutely.
And it was like, we were just chatting, and it just happened that way. But if I never said anything to him, I put on my headset and listened to my Amazon music that I had set up, and just rested and chill out. That doesn't happen.
Exactly.
I'm like, because everything I can tell you, I always say. Because I always say when people are like, well, if somebody outside of wrestling sees this, I always say, in terms of their opinions, F everybody outside of wrestling. I don't care, right? When I'm in those walls, when I'm at those shows, when I'm at a show, when I'm talking to everybody. Why? Because these are my people, right? Mm-hmm. You live in my world. I'm interested in what you have to say. I'm not interested in what people outside of our world think about our world. I want to know what these random people, what you like, what you dislike. I sat there and I became chummy with the dude sitting in front of me at the arena that effing hates FTR. And I started chatting with him because I wanted to know kind of why you hate FTR. He hates him because of CM Punk, and it really has nothing to do with the wrestling.
Whoops. My bad. My bad.
He doesn't. I was really trying to get down to what do you hate about Dax and Cash? Basically, when he came down to nutshell, he hated that they were friends with CM Punk.
Yeah.
Even
was
though
he the same guy who got the sign that got taken away?
Yes. Yes. I was going to talk about it. Yes. Even though Cash and Dax have said 100 times. Everybody says this. There is not a lot of things you can say certain about Brawl Out. There's not a lot of things, but there is one thing you can say. Those two weren't even in the building.
Exactly.
They did not fight the Young Bucks. They did not fight Kenny. They weren't there. I don't even know what happened. I don't know what happened in that room. No one does. I think most of them have NDAs at this point, but I do 100% know they weren't there.
Yep. Quite odd how that works out.
It's so people are hating them because they're literally friends with the man, not because they had anything to do with the fight or anything. Which is
cult of personality.
It's dude, they have said it so. They have said it so many different ways, and I'm not talking about anything that was said. I'm talking about on the show. He's like, we weren't there. All we can tell you is what we've heard, what we've been told. Yep. They've said that so many times, and it's just so you hate him because he's friends with them? You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. How that works out. Whatever.
But I will say, too, for those who were asking what I meant when I said guy who had the sign taken away, Floyd told me the guy brought a sign that said F, Phil, and Larry.
Yes.
Is the sign that he said. And when Floyd said it got on, because Floyd caught it on the Jumbotron being like, oh, it got on TV. He's like, yo, they're going to take your sign away. And he was like, what? No, they didn't see. I'm like, did you really think that? My thought process is, how did you not think that wasn't going to happen?
And I'd even say, yo, I've done these before. I wasn't, trying to brag. I'm like, but I literally saw once your thing got on screen, the guy with the headset tapped his head. He walked over in the general vicinity looking, and then he jumped the barricade and started looking around. Then he went and got security. I'm like, it was obvious they were coming to get this person.
You're done. It's over.
Yeah, it's like it was obvious, and it was like, I'm not saying nothing. I just stayed quiet. I mean, I knew they were going to figure it out. So the guy came over. He asked this dude in this chair, and he was like, did you see anybody with a green sign? He said, that guy right there. He literally pointed him out. My jaw just dropped. I was like, man, there's
freaking rat.
I was like, snitches, man. He was under no requirement to ask the guy's question. I'm not saying he has to be like, fuck you or anything like that. He's like, no, I didn't see anything. Because that's what I was going to say. But they didn't ask me. He pointed him right out. They went and got the sign and say, basically, give us the sign or get out. And they gave him the sign. And it was hilarious because what they were doing at the as you entered, they were checking what your sign said and what your sign said. So Carol, who was with us, she's on Twitter, Carol on Twitter, was right in front of us, and she had a sign, and it was very positive elite. Yeah, go elite sign, right? I think that's what it was.
Something,
and then, she turned around, there was nothing on the back. And he was like, we can't let you in with that sign. They was like, do you have a marker or something where you can write it on the back? Because basically they didn't want the back to be blank, so you could take your marker and then write something bad on the side. So I have literally been to pretty much as many AEW shows as anyone I know. And I can say this, I'd never heard of this as a rule. This was not on the website. This was not in anything. I know they can check your signs, but the lack of something on the back of your sign can keep your sign out. That didn't make any sense. So they literally, the guy had a pen and they just wrote on the back.
They just scribbled, yeah.
Yeah, so you would know, so she wouldn't do it later. She's like, I don't even have a marker. I have no way of doing this. It was crazy. It's new rules.
The whole T-Mobile staff was just weird compared to last year. The way they were trying to push people off of the property as soon as humanly possible was odd. It was almost like freaking Riot Squad, where they were just all walking in a row getting people off of the property. And I was just like, y'all, it's Vegas. Are you serious right now?
Yes. So
it was nuts.
Yeah, because I remember hanging out on there.
Yeah, we hung out. We took pictures. We talked with people. Yeah, we were there for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it looked like it was either building guidelines or new guidelines from building guidelines or new guidelines from AEW. I don't know, but we got away. Whatever. It was just it was strange. It was strange, but I understood after the Larry and Phil thing. I completely understood why they did it. And what happened is, I guess they were trying to get in line, so the lady they kind of folded their sign and rushed past. Right. So the person never checked their sign, and I'm like, I guess I hope it made them happy. I hope they got joy out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, the 2 seconds it was on TV.
Yeah, I hope they got joy on it. Whatever. I don't know. It was just it's strange to me that they want to say it. And it was like the guy that hated FTR, and I was like, he was booing FTR during the match, and I was like, so what do you got a problem with? Oh, I hate them in Punk, and I was like, well, why do you hate them? Do you hate the rest? Oh, they put on good matches.
They're assholes.
Do you hate their promos? And he's like, no, they're really good promos. They just friends with Punk. I was like, so you just hate them because of who they're friends with? Oh, okay, cool.
It's, again, the parasocial, it's weird. It's just so weird. It's no one else is like this with any other wrestler except for him. It's so weird. And
he wanted, because I'm in my FTR shirt, got my FTR shoes on. He wanted me to know, but I think he wanted me to be offended by it. But dude,
yeah, it's start a fight almost.
I started being an FTR fans when they were the heelish of heels ever. They were bad guys. They wore black hats. You don't think I'm used to people not liking FTR? Doesn't bother me. Doesn't affect my day whatsoever. Like, one day I hope they wear black hats again, and everybody hates them. And so it's like, no, this is fine. I'm like, I don't care about a wrestling opinion. It's a show. I want you to like who you like. But it was just like, you have made this show more about CM Punk than CM Punk has.
Yep.
CM Punk hasn't mentioned Double or Nothing, right?
He was off with Lars Frederiksen with what's the name of the band that sings Ruby Soho? Oh God, what the hell is the name
Rancid.
of the band? Rancid. Yeah, he was off with Rancid at a concert in Vegas. They were in Vegas, but they were just doing it was a Rancid concert.
Yeah.
It was not near T-Mobile Arena.
So you made this show about CM Punk, not CM Punk.
Interesting how that works out.
CM Punk says,
bull rush through the door like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. CM Punk says it. Love, hate, it's all the same thing. And I knew it right then.
Yep. Y'all, congratulations. You played yourself.
Yes.
All right. Well, enough with all of that, though. I know we've talked about our experiences and all that, and it's been fun. Now we can talk about the matches, the pay-per-view, and give our little review as we were in attendance for Double or Nothing 2023. Now, the buy-in was opened up with the trios match between the Hardys and the FTW champion Hook versus All Eagle, Ethan Page, and the Guns. Now, I was actually grabbing merch for the beginning part of this match. I came in maybe under 3 minutes into the match, and it was fine. Unfortunately, the biggest thing to take out of this was that Jeff Hardy at one point came out of a counter, kind of slipped on his ankle almost a little bit, and then he tried to do the thing he does where he jumps off the top rope, and it's I can't remember the name of it, I can't remember the name, not poetry in motion, but it's similar to that sort of thing. He tries to do that move, and he takes a slip off the ropes and lands very awkwardly on his shoulder and head. It was a bad botch. Not even a botch that was oh, you fucked up. It was a scary botch. I was ugh, that didn't look good. And I think the consensus now that people are seeing out of this too is finish up your guys' last run. We're good, honestly. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your years of entertainment. All the stuff that both Matt and Jeff have done throughout the years, the way they've reinvented themselves, the way that they have continued to stay as one of the hottest and just most recognizable teams of all of pro wrestling. Thank you for all of that.
Yeah,
but we're good at this point.
I mean,
be with your family, stay healthy, have a happy life. You don't need to do this anymore.
I am never going to be a person to tell a person when they need to quit. I can say this. I love Jeff. I love Matt. As far as their careers, literally, I remember watching them as jobbers on WWF in the mid-90s. I guess that's where it was. And yeah, they've been on my TV pretty much as long as I can remember.
The first main event I ever saw, remember seeing of a WWE pay-per-view was SummerSlam 2009. Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk TLC match for the World Heavyweight title. Yeah. Outstanding match too. What a main event that was.
I've been through them with Michael Hayes as their manager, them with the New Brood, them with Lita. I've been through Team Extreme, TLC. I have literally, I mean, they're my age. They're only a couple years older than me. So we grew up together, in essence. You know what I mean? I honestly think Jeff might be only a year or two older than me. But they are, we grew up together. So to say I love the Hardys and that their careers are much a part of my life, absolutely. But I always say this. When you have this athletic style, which is that they're kind of known of flying off landing on things, right? I almost call it the Michael Vick effect. When Michael Vick kind of lost his speed, it was more noticeable than when Tom Brady lost athleticism, because when Tom Brady was never relied on his athleticism, right? That's what the Hardys are their athleticism. It's the whisper in the wind.
That's what it was. The whisper in the wind.
Yeah, the whisper in the wind. All the moves that they do. Where he catapults off mat. That's all they do, and it's just like. It seems as they getting older, it's harder and harder for them to do. So if they can, get it back, go ahead and do it. But it looks like you see more and more of them kind of losing their athleticism. And it's just like, one of two things has to happen. Hey, realize you just can't do this anymore, which I'm never going to tell somebody they can't do it anymore.
Right.
I work in IT. I'm going to get to 60 and I'm going to still be wanting to fix computers and no one's going to be able to tell me I can't do it anymore. Right. So I'm never going to tell them they can't do it anymore, but they need to work differently. They need to learn to work differently. Work to their athleticism now, not to their athleticism 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. And you have to learn to tell stories differently. And they've been doing this so long, I know they can do it. I know they can do it. So that's my take on it. It's like, but yeah, at some point it does like, oh, you're like, I remember a wrestler saying when you can't fall as fast as you used to, and you can't get up as fast as you used to, maybe it's time to go. And it's like, that's what I see. I don't know, but this match was fine. It was a pre-show match. It literally, apparently, the Hook tapped out Ethan Page. Now Matt Hardy has the rights to Ethan Page's contract. I mean, which is okay. So the last 3 matches they've had, if you listen to the promo before the match, Matt Hardy's like, I can't wait for this to be over. But each match leads to another thing. So now you're like, oh, we'll be finally done with Ethan after this match. Now you own his contract, which means you're what? Not done with Ethan. So this continues going.
Yes.
Like, God, do something else. Anything else. Where's Scorpio Sky? Come on, I just need it. Where's Dan Lambert at this point? The Dan Lambert shit was better than this. Okay?
Yeah, no. For Ethan, and we've preached about Ethan Page and how good he can be, but yeah, this has to be done with. But it doesn't seem like it is.
Dan Lambert, please come rescue Ethan Page. Bring Scorpio Sky. Let's get that back. Because comparatively, a lot of people didn't think that was great, but it's not as bad as this.
Yes, facts. Moving off from that, we opened up the full show. Actually, we'll say too, they also mentioned the return of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, which was nice to see how it'll start in Canada. Finished off at the Calgary Stampede. Really cool thing that they mentioned. Then the International Championship Blackjack Battle Royal opened up the show. So, real quick, everybody in the match. Best friends in its entirety, of course, the champion Orange Cassidy, Trent, and Chuck Taylor, Ari Daivari, Bandito, Big Bill, Brian Cage, Dustin Rhodes, Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and Juice Robinson, Keith Lee, Kip Sabian, Commander, Lee Moriarty, Penta and Phoenix, Lucha Bros, Ricky Starks, Swerve Strickland, Butcher and the Blade, and Tony Nese. First off, the Luchas working together were just so, they all like ripped it up. Like all their stuff they did together was awesome. The work that Brian Cage did too, just getting like flipped by Bandito was nuts. This match had a lot of good stuff. I especially loved the beautiful save that Trent had, saving Orange Cassidy, sacrificing himself as he got eliminated by Big Bill. Big Bill also looked great in this match, I will say. We had the face-off between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. However, Keith Lee did end up getting eliminated throughout that. I kind of saw this as I wanted Keith Lee to get something over Swerve Strickland, so at least that idea that feud would happen and that there would be fire to it would actually be there. I kind of disagreed with how they went about it. Honestly, I'm just not a huge fan of it. They ended up having the final two be Swerve Strickland and Orange Cassidy, who did outstanding. Like, they were doing really, really great stuff. And then the finish, where Orange Cassidy and Swerve are hanging off the apron and they're trying to knock each other off. And eventually he hits the Orange punch and he's still holding onto the ropes. And Orange is about to like wind up for another. And he just like lackadaisically kicks his arm off of the rope, falls off onto the floor.
Did you see the look at his hand? Because his hand is hurt. So he looked at his hand like, oh, God, that would hurt to punch him. So he just kicks him.
I'm just going to kick his hand. Yeah, exactly.
That was such a good moment. I loved it. I loved this battle. This battle royal was super polarizing. I thought it was one of the best battle royals I've seen. I saw some people that said it was a cluster and they hated it. And it was just like, oh my God, I really enjoyed it.
I think the thing that I will say, I think the thing people didn't like about it was how at the start of the match, there was a lot of people who weren't in the ring. So they were like, what the fuck? Wait, who's out? Who's in? But they made sure to not make any major eliminations until everybody was in the ring. So I will say, like, I kind of figured out, like, I think the first person that got eliminated, I think, was either Daivari or Tony Nese. And it was when there were still some people outside. But who cares? Did you really think Tony Nese or Daivari were winning this match? Like, seriously. I didn't have a problem with that.
So I thought
there was a lot of good stuff in this. I enjoyed the Battle Royal a lot.
I thought this was the perfect way to kick off the show. I was really into it. But I was like, it was just funny to see online. I was checking. I wasn't really gonna check online, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But I started just kind of seeing what I saw, and it was just like, people asking questions about, what's going on with the show, and I'm like, I don't know. It seems really good to me, that kind of thing. And I thought we was off to a great start.
Yeah, that's so weird. And hey. Your AEW World Champion had something to say about the IWC, but I digress. We'll get into that later, I will say. The unsanctioned match was next between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho with Sabu. First off, Sabu falling through a table onto Daddy Magic. Outstanding. It was literally just like, I'm falling, and he just goes through the table. So good. This match was rough for me, honestly, because I was heavily looking forward to this match, and I thought there was some decent stuff in there. I loved Britt Baker coming in and being able to stop Chris Jericho for going for the kendo stick attack, the same kendo stick that was used to attack Britt Baker. She comes in with her own kendo stick and just beats the living shit out of Jericho. Then Saraya, God bless you, the worst run-in I've ever seen. The worst run-in. She comes in, tries to save the day. Britt just turns around and starts whacking her up the ramp. Like, you didn't do it. Good job at the office. You got the shit kicked out of you from the moment you stepped into the ring. But eventually, though, Adam Cole gets handcuffed by Chris Jericho, like bringing that whole thing back. And that was working all right. And the match was all right. There was a moment where he wraps his knee around and hits the boom knee with the chain around his knee. And then he just starts taking the steel chain and starts beating him over and over and over again, but not heavily convincing, I would say. Like, that would look vicious that you had to stop the match. And then Aubrey would stop the match with a ref stoppage. And honestly, kind of fell flat for me, I would say. The finish just seemed like, it wasn't like, I get it. Like, it fits that Adam Cole would be so furious that he would just keep going and going and going until the match would stop. But it just wasn't convincing. I honestly, if you would have gone with the kendo stick and he just kept hitting him with the kendo stick to the point where he wasn't even like flinching at the kendo stick shots, that would have worked better. Because at least it ties into the story of what happened to kickstart this entire thing of this blood feud. I wasn't a fan of the finish, and it hurt me to see because I love Adam Cole, love Chris Jericho. I was heavily looking forward to this match. And this one, honestly, was one of the two matches that fell short for me. But the other match that fell short for me had a reason behind why it fell short, at least. This one I felt like didn't. So it hurt me a little bit more, I would say. Now, Floyd, Mr. Positivity, your thoughts on this match?
So I'm watching the match, and I'm enjoying it. But it's kind of missing something, all right? And I felt like, okay, they're doing their thing. You have the Sabu spot. That was amazing. Then they're doing a match, and then Jericho brings out the chains and chains themselves together, and they just keep upping the ante, and that's great. It's great. But I felt like it was building to a moment. And then Britt came out with the kendo stick and started tearing up Chris Jericho to give her spot from, basically Chris Jericho screwing her over with Saraya. Then she got to hit Saraya with the kendo stick. And then I found out later on we found out what this match was doing. It was just really to build to a mixed tag match. It was an unsanctioned match to build to the next match. And I don't really want a match to build to the next match on my pay-per-view. You know what I mean? So it was fine. This match was fine. I saw people say it was bad. I didn't get bad. I was paying attention, but I did look at my cell phone a couple times during this match, which tells you it wasn't really keeping my attention. Now, Cole was about to hit the Panama Sunrise, and I was like, there's no way Jericho can get over on this move. And guess what? I was right. He did not get all the way over in that move. But whatever. He wraps the chain around his leg, hits him in the head, and starts beating him into submission. Because I know some people didn't like that finish. I love that finish because it got over the fact that he was pissed and he didn't want to beat Jericho. He wanted to hurt Jericho. And he wanted to hurt Jericho until he could no longer move. Referee stoppage. Perfect way to end that match. I like that match more than other people, but every criticism of that match, I completely see. It just didn't bother me as much as it bothered everybody else. So I really did enjoy the Brit run in. I thought that was a great moment. Like one of the pops of the night was her coming in for that. So that was fun. The whole match was fun. It's just okay. I will say this as my own take on a match where you're going to get a 4-on-4 anarchy in the arena. You got all this stuff. You got a ladder match. It just seemed like why couldn't they just had a wrestling match? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. That's my only criticism.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I agree with the ref stoppage thing. I just felt like there was a better way that could have been done. Like I said, I feel like you use the kendo stick on him, because that way I feel like it works even better. I feel like personally, I think that's what really, because correct me if I'm wrong, did Adam Cole hit him once with a kendo stick?
I don't think he did. It was all Britt.
No, he did. Yeah, he said he did work him over with a kendo stick. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
so he did use it. So, but not enough for you to remember it.
Correct.
Adam Cole was the one. Yeah, Britt ripped him apart with the kendo stick. We remember that. If Adam Cole did that and that's how the match ended, I think then it would stick with me significantly more.
Yes.
But just him going with the chain, I don't know. It was just kind of slow, and it didn't seem like he was like viciously going after him. You know what I mean? So much like, I don't know. That's just how I feel. Yeah, it was a solid match, but it did disappoint me.
Yeah. I saw a point where I saw the chain shots from a different angle, not from my angle. They looked fine from my angle, but from the other angle I saw them from, yes, they looked terrible.
Yep.
It didn't even look like he was trying to hurt him.
Right.
Yeah, so, no. I like I said, from my angle where I was looking, it looked fine, and then, because I think Adam Cole's back was to me, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't high up, so literally all I saw was him swinging down. So I didn't really see, the end of it where he wasn't look like the force behind it. I just saw his arm going up and down. So it looked fine from that angle, but once you saw the other angle, it did not look great.
Right. Moving over now, the AEW World Tag Team titles were on the line. FTR defending against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett with the special guest referee, Mark Briscoe. First off.
7-star match of the night right here.
There it is. But first off, Cash being Dax being like, Cash, give him your belt. And they're like, someone took it. He's like, it's on your waist. He's like, oh shit, there it is.
Yes, and Cash replies, it's Vegas. And I was like,
yep.
Everybody that was in Vegas understands exactly what he means.
Absolutely. That was very, very funny.
Yes.
I will say for me first, I love the use of the stereo sharpshooters. I love that. Jeff Jarrett was healing it up like crazy. And then there was a point because Mark Briscoe was definitely he wasn't taking any shit. Anybody who tried to do anything, he was like, do not even try with me. I'm tired of this. Eventually he ejects Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh.
Who didn't actually, leave.
Yeah, they didn't really leave. Then Jeff looked to hit Dax Harwood with a guitar. He ducked it, and then Mark gets hit with a guitar. Shatter Machine was hit on Lethal. Ref wasn't there to count it. Aubrey Edwards then runs down as Sanjay Dutt then just blocks her from coming down. Aubrey, first of all, unfortunately, didn't do a hard enough job of trying to get past puny little Sanjay Dutt. So that's your first problem. Your second problem is when you did finally tell him to piss off, Karen Jarrett knocked you in the head with a freaking guitar in the head. I gotta say, Aubrey is one of the most willing referees I've ever seen to take shit like that. Because I still remember when Phoenix kicked her in the head so hard at a Defy show, and she just dropped. She sold that perfectly. She is more willing than any other referee to do stuff like that, and it's crazy. Because I was stunned when that happened. Dude, got a huge reaction. Huge reaction.
You don't hit Aubrey. It's just
you don't.
You just don't. And it was like Karen became the biggest bad villain,
and then smacking her ass when she did it too. Dude, she was it was awesome.
Yes.
And eventually, as the match went down, though, double lethal injections. But then Jeff Jarrett takes the title belt, and then he tried to get it done, but was not able to make it happen. And FTR still retains the titles, hugs Mark Briscoe. Nice little moment there. It was a really good match, I got to say. But I will hand it over to the FTR man, though.
So, this match, very kind of classic. I mean, it's the type of match you were expecting it was going to have to be. It was a very old school type 80s match. Of course, there was some new school in there. You saw, I was very pleased with Dax and Cash hitting the double drop kick. You know, they both got up for the drop kick. We kind of saw, I guess you would call it, an inverted Doomsday device because they did it from the powerbomb with the clothesline. That was cool. Cash had the hot tag, and I guess someone called it the Ricky Morton spot, but he was just going through and jumping through the ring, and dude, it was like Cash worked his ass off. It was like I very rarely differentiate. I'm like, they are a well-oiled machine. Cash and Dax are a well-oiled machine. Dax does his part. Cash does his part. It always equals out. I always tell people, don't ask me to pick my favorite because they're FTR. There is Cash and Dax, and they're very different personalities, very different movesets, but they balance out to each other where they're a team. Cash worked his ass off in this match, and he killed it. He was everywhere at the same time. The whole thing with there has to be, I know it's wrestling, and I know we play fast and loose with the rules. This is 100% known. I am not I'm not asking for strict rules or ratings and all that stuff. But dude, when the referee objection has to mean something, right? Right now it means nothing. Sanjay basically made it halfway up the ring and then came right back. And it has to be, I don't know if they did say, well, if you don't leave ringside when the referee kicks you out, you're suspended or something. It was just so weird that it was like, oh, the referee went out. And then I came back out, and it's just like, and then Mark gets back up. Sanjay's the one that wakes him up. And I'm like, oh, he's groggy. He can't see it. But it's like, dude, that's automatic DQ because Sanjay's gone. I was just like, it's wrestling. But it was just like, it was noticeable. No, right. that not happening, and it was like, I guess I still had, I know people don't want you to compare it. I still had my wrestling PTSD. I'm just using it in a wrestling term because this is not a serious. Please, in no way think I'm comparing to really, but when you have wrestling, it just flashed back to Solo Sikoa getting kicked out and then coming back and being the reason Cody lost.
Yeah.
It just flashed back to that moment. But yes, I like my biggest thing. I love that FTR won and all that stuff. That is their first ever pay-per-view title defense, successful pay-per-view title defense. So shout out to them. I know a lot of people don't pay attention to that, but the one titles match that they had on a pay-per-view to win the titles, they lost. I mean, they lost the titles to the Young Bucks. So they are now 1-1 in pay-per-view defenses. I always thought this was a Dynamite feud. I really did. I did not think this was a pay-per-view feud. I know everyone knows I love FTR and wear the FTR flag, but I can be honest, I was not happy with this team. But it has been established through the Acclaimed and everything. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are everyone's first defense. So now maybe we get to a real title defense, right? We get to a real rivalry, something that can really highlight what FTR does well. I thought this was a good match.
Yes.
It was not a great match. It was not an amazing match. It didn't knock my socks off. I thought it was a really good match, and I think they did all they could with what they had, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, this match was great. They had the moment with Mark. I thought that added to it. That was all good, but I'm like, dude, there's so many great tag teams in AEW.
There are.
I'm like, okay, we couldn't have built a FTR versus Best Friends. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
You're like FTR versus like in a triple threat match with like Silver and Reynolds and Butcher and the Blade. Like anybody, that like the younger people that you can, get in the show and there's all this stuff. I'm like, I love Jeff Jarrett in his role, and I think he has been 20 times what anybody could have expected since he debuted with AEW. But come on, man. What you've done with your people that are old is you use them to get young people over, right?
Yes.
Where's the young person that Jeff Jarrett's getting over?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not. You use Sting, you use Christian. They helped the younger people. And it's just like Jeff Jarrett's not doing that. So you're kind of just taking up a spot. And I don't like it. And and I have no problem with Jeff Jarrett. I bow to him. The Stroke, early 2000s TNA Impact. I was driving to Nashville for the Asylum and everything. Don't get me wrong. I am not a Jeff Jarrett hater. I just he doesn't fit in the personality of what AEW is and what I feel like they're trying to do. And it was just like, so this match was great, but I feel like maybe a main event of a Rampage, maybe the first hour main event of a Dynamite. I don't think this was a pay-per-view match. Just me personally, that's my thing. As people call me the biggest FTR fan, I quote unquote, because I think that's, I don't know how you measure that kind of thing. So as someone that loves FTR immeasurably, loves Jeff Jarrett, loves Jay Lethal, this is not an AEW 2023 pay-per-view match.
There you go. Now, moving over, we had, first of all, Ricky Starks was upset about how he was so close to winning that Battle Royal, and then he got jumped again by Bullet Club Gold with Jay White and Juice Robinson until FTR came to their aid. And me personally, Bullet Club Gold versus FTR, you piqued my interest immensely.
Yes. You give me Jay White and Juice Robinson versus FTR, dude, sign me up. Sign me up. Again, 4 people I like. Jay White is kind of stale in AEW right now. He needs something. A feud with the best tag team in the world. That's what you do. Juice Robinson, the whole thing with Ricky, it hadn't really went anywhere. And now, perfectly, Ricky's name, it starts with an R. FT Ricky. I didn't even have to think about it. It just works. FT Ricky. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. It's on. It was liked by Dax. Boom. We're going. Now, I want to see what it's going. So, from what I understand, when they're talking about the split, these are rumors. Like I said, I am not breaking any news. This is stuff I've seen scrolling on the internet. All 5 of these people are basically heading to Collision. So this might be the Collision feud. June 17th, live from the United Center, we might open up with FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. Can we get it for the tag team titles? Let's go. That's a tag team match. That's a match that gets my blood pumping. That makes me excited to see that, because I don't want to just see FTR wrestle. I want to see them wrestle great teams.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's do that.
There you go. Then we had, first of all, they announced Chris Jericho and Saraya were pissed off, and they announced that they wanted to face Britt Baker and Adam Cole in a match on Dynamite. So that got announced. And then we move over to the TNT Championship match between Wardlow and Christian Cage. This was a pretty damn good match, I would say. I especially loved the use of freaking Wardlow just moving like a fucking beast. Arn Anderson being able to come down, looking like he was gonna. I thought for a second he was gonna spinebuster Luchasaurus as he was getting choked, but then he just bites Luchasaurus' thumb and like he's bleeding out. His thumb is just red, just absolutely red. The gimmick looked amazing. There was a moment where Christian's climbing the ladder, and Wardlow from like the top rope jumps on the ladder, and it just crumbles. The whole thing crumbles and it falls. Then the motherfucker tries to use the damn ladder. I'm like, dude, you broke it. There's no salvaging this ladder. There's like 4 other ones around the ring. Use those ones.
Yes. Jumping from rope to ladder is a 200-pound man move, not a 250-pound shit brick house move. The ladder wasn't meant for that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, for real. But then, of course, we had the unreal swanton, like just over a ladder, through 2 tables onto Christian. Wardlow managed to go out, and after powerbombing Christian, as he caught him, as Arn Anderson shoved him off the ladder, powerbomb, Wardlow wins the title with the help of Arn Anderson and remains TNT champion. This was probably his biggest match as TNT champion throughout because he's a 2-time champion throughout any of his reigns, I will say.
Yeah, it was. I thought the match was good. I thought Arn Anderson's promo, if you like paid attention, because I saw a lot of people not liking the bike thing. The promo that he said is that Wardlow and him would do anything possible to retain the title. He's gonna do what it takes, and that was the story of the match. Arn is like, oh, I can't compete with Luchasaurus. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's younger. I'm just gonna bite him. I'm old and I'm crafty. I'm just gonna bite the hell out of him. And then Wardlow, he went on top of the 15-foot ladder and put Christian through it. Wardlow played Jeff Hardy today, and Christian played his same role, and he put him through the table because he was willing to do whatever it takes to win. Arn Anderson helping him get Christian in the powerbomb, and it was like Arn's not there. Arn's not there to be an advantage for Wardlow. But when Wardlow needs someone to even it up, that's what Arn is there. He is there to be a mentor. I saw it was like one part where Wardlow was outside and he just kind of went over there and yelled at him to get up, kind of thing. And it was just like, that's what a coach does. Somebody that's a manager of a good guy does. And it's just like, I thought he served his purpose. I know there's certain people out there. Again, this is bias. I have no problem saying this. Arn Anderson go out there and crap his pants in the middle of the ring, and I'm gonna be like, he crapped his pants for a reason. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm completely violent. Arn Anderson is untouchable, in my eyes, untouchable. He can do whatever the hell he wants to, and I'm not changing on him. So Arn Anderson was the perfect thing for this match. So I loved it. I loved him being involved. At the one point, I thought he was going to pull him down. I thought he was about to hit Luchasaurus or Christian with the DDT or spinebuster. That didn't happen. I'm fine. I didn't care. Arn Anderson do what he wants to do. He's adding I think he adds a bit to the Wardlow thing, and I know eventually. I mean, if you're doing the good guy manager thing, someone's going to use Arn against Wardlow. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And like I said, this was a first defense to reestablish Wardlow as the champion that he is, and hopefully he moves into a bigger feud next.
Yep, there you go. And then we had the AEW Women's World Championship match between Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm. Now, this was the other match I said that disappointed me, but again, this one had a reason. Now, we knew going into this pay-per-view that Jamie Hayter was not 100%. We honestly didn't know if she was going to be cleared. We did not know if she was going to be able to take part in the match. She was cleared and she did wrestle, but obviously they specifically made sure to do it as quickly and safely as possible. She got jumped by Saraya and Ruby Soho as her entrance happened, and they were beating up on her pretty bad. Eventually, Britt Baker would come down again, actually, started brawling with Saraya again, and then that's when the referee was distracted with all this, Jamie Hayter gets sprayed in the eyes with spray paint. Then Hikaru Shida comes down with a kendo stick, fights off Ruby, fights off Saraya as well as that's happening. And Jamie would look like she tried to hit the Haterade, but then Tony, then she goes after her. She clutches her arm as it's hurting. She gets hit with Storm Zero. She gets pinned. Tony Storm, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is your first ever 2-time AEW Women's World Champion. Am I correct on that matter?
I believe you are correct.
Okay, so obviously that match was compromised. It was compromised because unfortunately Jamie Hayter is not fully healthy. It's disappointing. Obviously, these two did a great match prior, and they are both really good wrestlers. And it was a shame, honestly. I was looking forward to this match, but I understand at least why the match was what it was. It's going to be the low point of the show because, I mean, look, it's a tough spot. We understand why, but we can't really give you you know what I mean? It's just tough it was just tough, honestly. And yeah. Jamie Hayter, considering this is how her title reign ended, she was great as AEW Women's World Champion. And I know she'll be back at this point because, again, the fans love her and she's, so good. But, yeah, it's disappointing that this is how it ends. But I think Tony having it gives the Outcast stuff, it gives them more firepower to be able to do whatever the hell they want. And it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. I just hope Jamie heals up and eventually comes back to become a 2-time AEW Women's World Champion or a TBS champion. She could do either because she's really good.
So, we saw this match differently. I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
Did you?
Yeah, because that's what I wanted. She won the title because of the Outcast. The Outcast finally looked like the women's faction they needed to look like. They took out the other two, gave Tony the clear advantage. Tony, who was cheated out of the win by Jamie Hayter. She only won because Britt rammed Tony's head into the exposed turnbuckle, and then Jamie Hayter hit her with the clothesline after that. So she got her revenge. The reason she joined the group was because Britt and Jamie kind of caused her to go bad. This was perfect to me. This is how this match was supposed to go. She got her revenge. I think this was the
only way the match could have gone. But I think you could have gotten to that point, though, with a match that was actual of her being healthy and being able to go longer than 3 minutes.
No, they took her out from the beginning. They dude, you got chum. You got chum. They made it as easy as possible for Tony to win. That is why bad guys join factions. That's why you join a faction. What happened last night is why you join a faction. I love this match. I loved how it played out. I was jumping up and celebrating because, again, we saw the match differently, which is okay. I jumped up and I was like, yes, Tony Storm won. Because to me, it was when I've seen this, and again, I have to use the WWE example, done badly with Bayley and Damage Control, right? That was done terribly. This was this is how you do it. If you're going to get a faction, you're going to get them to the point where they are dominant, to the point where you could build a good guy or whatever to take on that faction, they have to win it first. They won. They reached the goal. The goal was for one of the three to be champion. They have done it. Now, anybody that's going after Tony doesn't just have to go to Tony. They have to go through Outcast.
That is the exciting part about that.
And it is perfect. They have established the Outcast as an actual threat, as an actual group. Your first actual threat women's group.
Yeah, I do agree with that part of that, at least. That now it does nothing but help the Outcasts even more.
And I think that's what, more than the match, I liked what it meant for the Outcast going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Then we move over, though, to the AEW World Trios Championship match. It was an open house, open challenge by the House of Black. And the Acclaimed were the ones who answered the challenge, which was also what we were kind of feeling was going to be the case.
Yeah, I don't know why this wasn't just announced.
Yeah, but Max Caster ripped the House of Black to shreds with his rap, calling Brody King a lost member of RuPaul's Drag Race, saying, how does Malachi get away with doing blackface? And then Buddy Matthews is busy getting cucked by some kid named Dominic. Interesting.
And
then
the thing I've screamed since the beginning.
Yeah. How's the House of Black with no black guys in it?
You got black people all over the roster, and the House of Black has no black people in it. What the hell?
And they said we don't need a special rule to beat your emo asses. So they did not take the dealer's choice side. They did not care. And honestly, this was a good match. I thought these guys did a good, solid job, really working to try to get Billy Gunn in, and using them. Just Bowens getting dragged back constantly. There was multiple points where he got dragged back to not be able to get a tag. When Daddy Ass himself got in, he was really, really giving it to the House of Black. But eventually, as they started to really get ahead of it, he got nailed as he hit a Famouser and then proceeded to get hit with the Black Mass by Malachi Black. And Daddy Ass takes the pin, and the trios titles are retained by the House of Black. This was all right. This was good, I felt like. You can't really complain much about this. It wasn't anything outstanding, but it was good.
It was a solid trios match. You're trying to get the trios belts on a different level. I liked everything around the match. I love, the House of Black's entrance is amazing. The lighting in the building is amazing. I love that. Max Caster's rap was another level last night. Everyone loves the Acclaim. Got everybody into it. And then, they had a match. It was a match.
Yep.
Was it bad? No. Was it amazing? No. It was a match that the House of Black won. So
it was another good open house match that they've done so far. I love them as trios champions still.
Correct.
To the TBS Championship match, I'm excited to talk about this. First off, Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie. The entrances for both girls were outstanding. Taya had some dancers behind her, and her entrance seemed really big and trying to really make her seem big. And then Jade.
Yes, I was like, they finally made Taya seem like the way I've seen Taya represented in other companies.
There you go. Yeah, it was the first time it felt like they treated her like a bigger deal. Then Jade brings out Big Boss Vede for Pretty Girls Walk Like This, the TikTok song, and they do the TikTok dance. It was awesome. Honestly.
This was my old man moment of the night. I was like, oh, is this a song that everyone knows? Who is this chick? I have no idea. But the dance, it was like the colors, the dance, everything.
Oh, they were tearing it up.
Yeah, yes, they killed it. And I was like, oh, she's going to come out here, do a dance on you, and then beat your ass. That's amazing. Jade I was like, oh my God, Jade. And I was like, yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. And Taya looked good. Honestly, I thought this match was good. It looked like she immediately was trying to get the road to Valhalla before Jade got out of the way. They had a great Blue Thunder Bomb by Taya. They were just going back and forth. But Jade gets her jaded, and hers is more vicious than the Road to Valhalla. And then she wins to go 60-0 and retain the TBS Championship. Smart Mark gets on the mic saying, look, there's nobody left. There's nobody left for us to beat. 60-0, outstanding, legendary, historic reign by Jade Cargill. But there's nobody left. And then music hits, and it's Chris motherfucking Statlander. And that was hype enough. And then just out of nowhere, the referee is just looking at both people, and then they just start an impromptu TBS Championship match. Statlander hits Sunday Night Fever and ends the seemingly endless reign of Jade Cargill, 60-1, and for the now only the second TBS champion in its history, Chris Statlander, who, yes, was originally supposed to win before she unfortunately got injured. Back from her injury, beats Jade Cargill, and wins the TBS championship. Me and Floyd are venomously disagreeing. We were shouting at each other walking out of T-Mobile Arena about this. I'm sure it will continue into this. So I will sit back and I will let Floyd say everything he thought, not just about the Chris Statlander return, but also, the Jade and Taya match by itself.
Jade and Taya match was good. I thought it was one of Jade's best matches as far as, it looked good. It looked like she could lose, especially when she hit the move and then kicked out, and then she came back and got the move back. I thought that match was great. All right. Let me first preface, because I think this has gotten lost in confusion. I am a Chris Statlander fan. I like Chris Statlander. When I heard that Chris Statlander was supposed to be the one that beat Jade, I was very excited about it. I was like, that's a great person. It's going to do a lot for her in her build. Okay. Stop. Full stop. Okay. Take that in. I'm going to wait a few seconds. I hated how she won the title. This rang Money in the Bank cash in. This rang, fluke win. This rang Santino coming out of the crowd and beating Umaga. It did. It rang so hollow. It didn't ring like she beat anybody. It rang like she took advantage of somebody that was down and pinned. Jade's record, 500 days, 60-0, unbeatable, unstoppable. You got Chris Statlander coming off basically her second ACL surgery. She is basically the $6 million woman. She is bionic. She is cleared. She is AEW homegrown talent. Oh my God, give me the video packages talking about more than the woman. This alien is coming back, or whatever her new gimmick is going to be. You build it up. You build it up. She shows up after this match. She says, I want Jade. You build it up for the next 2 weeks on a Dynamite or a Collision. Jade comes in. Chris comes in. They put on a 10 to 15 minute match. Chris Statlander hits the move, becomes the champion, celebrates finally ending a Jade streak, actually being better than Jade on a night. That is what she deserved, not what happened.
Okay. My response, I don't give a fuck because I was there for it. I don't give a fuck because the return would have been fine enough, but I saw a new TBS champion. I saw Chris Statlander get the TBS championship. I don't give a fuck. I thought it was crazy. It got me so hyped when it happened. And look, that's fine and all that, dude, but you go through the people that Jade has beaten. She's beaten a ton of people, no question about it. She's beaten a ton of outstanding people for that TBS championship. Her record is outstanding and the people that she's beaten. But I don't care.
And I mean, care. So you recognize that this was a terrible way to give it the title. You don't care because you're basically saying that you just don't care because you got to see a title change, and which is fine.
I don't care because I got to see Chris get the title change because again, I know that was what it was originally supposed to be.
Yeah, it's just.
But also on the fact too, you were comparing this to like a Money in the Bank cash in, being like people don't get over when they just roll in and just capitalize on the moment on a Money in the Bank cash in.
Correct.
Edge.
Correct. Okay.
CM Punk.
Okay.
Dolph Ziggler.
He did not get over. Nothing happened.
He did.
No, he didn't. The moment
he got over. He was over, but his title reign was never treated as serious because it was the World Heavyweight Championship.
Dude, he won the title. His first title defense he lost, and he was never world champion again. You cannot call that over. The moment was over. Not his title, not him. He was never world champion again. Ever.
Look, man, I'm just saying.
I just no. You can't use Dolph. He got the moment. He lost a few weeks later. Never champion again. He was not over.
See, this is what it's been like for literally like the last 2 days. That's what it's been like.
Jack Swagger. Let's talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about him. How'd he do after you after you cashed in that money?
Daniel Bryan
cashed in the Money in the Bank, but is that what really made him Daniel Bryan?
Seth Rollins.
Oh, that was a great moment. Yeah, it was a great moment. It was.
And he didn't get over?
He was already over. He was part of the Shield. He was Seth Rollins at that point. He was already over.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Alexa Bliss?
The fluke wins Ring Hollow. The fluke wins Ring Hollow. Oh, Nikki.
It wasn't too hollow when the crowd was going crazy for it.
Nikki Cross. Oh my God, you don't understand how much. I don't have any hair and I want to pull it out. Crowds go. Name the last time the title changed hands and the crowd didn't go crazy. Title changes get pops no matter what. WrestleMania 32, one of the loudest pops I ever had. Roman Reigns pins Triple H. Was Roman over at that point? No. People like title changes. People like hearing "and new." Doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
So yes, it was a great moment. Great moment. I think it does more damage than good. But we'll see. I could be wrong. I'm often wrong. We'll see.
All right.
I didn't like it. In the moment, I was like, oh my God, you took this amazing thing that you put all this time and effort in and just lost it with a fluke.
But my biggest thing on this, too, is that now Jade has so much fuel for the rematch. That rematch will be huge.
But the initial match could have been huge.
So?
The initial match wasn't huge. That's what I'm like. It's like, oh, we're going to make the rematch. The initial match should have been huge.
But, dude, we've said this before. We've said this before about how Jade's TBS title, like how her reign had gotten stale up until this point.
Dude, but come on, this build up to the Chris Statlander title. You tell them you wouldn't have got you excited?
I was excited back when Ruby was brought to the AEW, and I was thinking she was going to be the one. And then they tried to do it with Athena, and at that point I gave up.
Oh my, yeah. I guess I know there's some people that just wanted Jade not to be champion anymore. I'm like, you put all this time and effort in it. It's like I love, everybody knows how much I love Cody in the ground he walks on. If he beats Roman Reigns in a Money in the Bank cash-in after Roman has already wrestled something, I will literally throw my computer and walk away. Because that would be stupid.
Yeah.
You've built this 1,000-day reign, which 500, half 1,000, so it's pretty fucking impressive. You've built this 1,000-day reign, and you're not actually giving someone a clean victory over the person that's the champion.
Okay.
It's like, what? What are you doing? Again, this has nothing.
I will tell you right now. They're like out of the people that Jade has beaten when she had the TBS championship. I think the two biggest people that she had when she beat biggest people that she beat when she had the TBS championship was Athena, Ruby Soho, and maybe Willow Nightingale or Anna Jay. That's it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It had gotten to the point of stale. That doesn't mean you just end it randomly. You pick the perfect moment and you end it. This last night was not the perfect moment to end it.
We're going to still be disagreeing on this, I'm sure, for the end of time.
No, I want to stop. Because I capped it with what I said. I want to end capped it. Congratulations to Chris Statlander. I am so happy that she has recovered from the surgeries and she's coming back. I was very excited when she was coming through the first time. I've always been a fan. Her new shirt's out on shop and it's amazing.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
This has nothing to do with Chris Statlander as a person. I hope y'all can hear this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is all about the moment and that they chose to and how they chose to get the belt off Jade. That's it. Congratulations to Chris Statlander. I wanted to end it. I wanted to start it with that. I wanted to end it with that. So this has nothing to do with her. I am a fan. I am a fan of Chris Statlander. I am a fan of Jade. Don't get me wrong. I just think I'm thinking geeky wrestling fan. This is all about the geeky wrestling fan inside of me. There was such a bigger moment to build to right then.
All right. Well, moving over now to the double main event, the AEW World Championship match, the Pillars 4-Way, MJF, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara. This match ruled. This match was outstanding.
Easy 5-star match for me.
Easy.
It was easy. It was everything I thought it was going to be, a little bit more. Oh my God, so many moments from it. It's going to be hard to run through them all. And I even got some funny moments where the people around me, because they had pissed me off. Jungle Boy had pissed me off as usual. But no, the submission probably was my favorite part, where they all four.
Oh, the four. Yeah, it was that dude. That was when I was like some of the stupidest wrestling imagery ever, and I loved it.
Yes,
it looked ridiculous.
It was like they took a dartboard and he was like, "What do you want to do?" And they threw it up against the dartboard. We're going to make that happen. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, and they were still telling a story. Like, in the story, it still feels like Darby Allin could be the next guy for MJF, because of it really ended up being about them. Darby hits his move, and then he's like, he could have just went for the pin. No, I had to try to get you back in the headlock takeover like you got me, right? And Jungle Boy's thing, Canadian Destroyer's out there everywhere. Like I said, I've said a lot of bad things that made people think I don't like Jungle Boy. Again, nothing personal against Jungle Boy. But in that ring, those four corners and those ropes, he's as good as anybody. Mm-hmm. So never take away what he can do in that ring. That dude is as good as anybody. He was right there. He held his own. He killed. Darby Allin killed. Sammy Guevara killed. MJF, amazing as usual. Dude, I probably my favorite match of the year so far. And FTR won the tag belts. Think about that.
Yeah.
And this was my favorite match of the year so far.
Yeah, it was really, really freaking good. I gotta say too, honestly, one of my other favorite things too about this match was when I went back to rewatch it, and the amount of screaming that MJF did was hysterical.
Unfortunately, I have not heard that
the one
yet.
other thing I wanted to mention real quick too was how each member of the Pillars hit the finisher of their mentor. Darby Allin, Scorpion Deathstroke. MJF, Crossroads. Sammy Guevara, Codebreaker. And Jungle Boy, Kill Switch.
Yep. And that was awesome.
That is absolute perfection.
We did skip over one part. Congratulations to Sammy and Ty. Sammy
did forget about that. Yeah.
Sammy brought back the cue cards, something that he hasn't done in a long time, to announce that him and Ty are having a baby. I didn't want to skip over that. Congratulations.
Of course not. Yeah. Congrats to them. Absolutely.
No, but the match, man, that's the perfect way to announce celebrating having a kid, because I can't say it's my favorite match that MJF's been in because of the dog collar match.
Exactly.
Was my favorite match Darby has been in. Definitely my favorite match Jungle Boy has been in. Sammy was in like the Anarchy stuff, so I would still say too, Sammy with Cody's last match, the ladder match. Yes,
that's tough to beat. Still.
Yeah, but I'd honestly say two of the four people, it was my favorite match they'd ever been in. I thought it was perfect. This is what you're supposed to do. I hope we get this at least one or two more times in their career, and of course with a better build, or maybe after all four of them have been champions, because I just feel like all four of these people are going to be the AEW World Champion at some point. At some point. So amazing. Fuck the build. This match delivered.
Absolutely.
All of these men go home, look in the mirror, and like, yeah, I did my job tonight. I killed at this. I killed at this. And they did. They all killed. They destroyed that match. It was amazing. I was like I was standing up, dude. Yeah, and I was like, the fact, now, I can't say this, the fact that it came on when they announced it was coming on and it wasn't the main event, I was like, oh, we're not getting CM Punk.
Oh, that's how you were like?
Yeah, my lip went down because I knew we weren't getting CM Punk at that point.
You knew that wasn't close. See, I was the opposite. I was like, oh my God, CM Punk's going to end the show. Oh my God.
Now I was like, no, I thought the only way CM Punk would end the show is with MJF in the ring and then CM Punk's music hitting.
Oh, I see.
I don't think if the elites out there, I don't think they're doing anything with CM Punk at the end.
That's true.
So as soon as it wasn't,
I was just straight up just like, in my dream that like everyone finally got over themselves and we could just do this and stop with the whole idea that we're just splitting.
Dude, you just
splitting the place up.
You just hear too many rumors and stuff that they're so far away that, like I said, I just felt like, yeah, as soon as they weren't on last, it wasn't CM Punk.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it is what it is. I like I said,
I'll get it eventually. I'm just impatient.
That match delivered. I just want to.
Yep.
I need to say it like 122
and also
more times.
too. Do you want to rip Jungle Boy to shreds for just being a punk?
Oh, so this is my funny moment. We were in the ring and Jungle Boy has the belt in his hand and he's doing the look at it thing. Now, again, I talked about how faces are stupid, right? Forever. That's my thing. It's a fatal 4-way. Guess what's not illegal?
Yeah. It's a no DQ match.
Yeah, it's a no DQ match. What the fuck are you doing? Hit the dude with the belt. And then he threw it down. And I screamed. I was like, that's why you're a Jungle Boy and not a Jungle Man.
Yep,
everybody,
you're a Jungle Boy, not a Jungle Man.
Everybody around us laughed. I was like, men do what it takes to win. And a few seconds later, MJF puts the belt on, uses it, hits it with the headlock takeover, ends the match that way. And I was like, you know what? MJF, that's why MJF is the man. Because he does what it takes.
Yeah. I will say one thing. Why the fuck did it have to be Darby taking the pin? Why?
Dude, because it had to be the headlock takeover. To me, that's him putting Darby in the headlock takeover sets up Darby to be the next challenger.
I hope that's the case, too, because I was like, you could have just pinned Jungle Boy.
No, and I don't know if they're going to do it on a pay-per-view or just like build to a bigger episode of the
maybe a winner's company. Maybe a winner's. No, they can't do winner's coming because that's Full Gear coming out.
Maybe Collision. You know what I mean?
Maybe a Collision. Yeah.
We haven't. I don't. I've heard rumors on what the roster is. No one knows. You're going to need a big match to close Collision, even if Punk comes back. Right. I doubt he's going to be in the match when he comes back. You need a big match to draw for Collision. Go with MJF versus Darby.
There you go.
I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but it's just throwing it out there. I think it sets up for him to get a one-on-one match.
I hope so. Then shit hit the fan. Anarchy in the Arena 2. Oh my God.
When I said, after this match, I came away with one thought. The signature match of AEW is the Stadium Stampede / Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, those two matches are absolute staples of AEW that they do better than anybody else. And Stadium Stampede 1 and 2 were both outstanding. Anarchy in the Arena 1 and 2, outstanding.
All of them feel different.
Yeah.
All of them. They just feel different. And it's like this felt completely different than the Anarchy in the Arena last year. Any of the Stadium Stampedes, it felt more violent. I love that they had the live band playing the music. Apparently, it sounded bad on TV. Let me tell you this. It sounded like Wild Thing to me. I mean,
yeah, I don't know why people were. I don't know why people were so angry about it. I had to endure Hardy for WWE. I had to endure Hardy's bum ass. This was not Hardy.
I'm actually a very big fan of Hardy, but that was his foray into rock, not country. So whatever. We move on. Moving on.
Yes. The match had so much shit taking place.
Dude, Mox and
so
Cesaro came down in my section. So I saw that. I have a video I have not been able to upload yet, and I will. And I will try to put it on our page where they're literally fighting right next to me. When I say right next to me, I could have touched them. But I was too busy recording because I was so excited. And it was you had that fight starting. There was so much going on. I honestly can say I probably only saw about 60% of the match.
Yeah, no, that's how these go. You have to watch it back to be able to catch everything. I feel like, which is kind of ingenious in the matter of the fact, honestly. Moxley and Yuta came down right in front of us. No, it was Moxley and Claudio actually who came. Like, we were upper bowl and like we looked down over the railing and we can see Moxley and Claudio come down. Moxley decided to get a fork out to beat the shit out of Omega with, and also onto barbed wire. They got the chip. We got to see the chip get used, and it was covered in barbed wire and glass. Vicious. Claudio proceeded to take Matt Jackson out into the backstage, into the concourse, swings him through the concourse and throws him into a trash can, and then proceeds to throw him into the back of a pickup truck as he spikes him with a pile driver on it. And then as they were continuing onto that too, there's a moment where Matt finally is able to get down to the ring after he gets out of the truck, and he comes in, and they're wearing the Jordan 1 Into the Spider-Verse, like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 sneakers. And he freaking super kicks Moxley in the head with it. And it explodes. Pyro from his shoes. I was like, what in the goddamn hell? I couldn't freaking believe it. It was one of the craziest things. And this was after, too, Moxley was getting kicked in the head, and he was just like, I don't give a fuck you. And then, eventually, though, he gets back up, and he gets thumbtacks. And they take Matt, who's now missing his one shoe because of the explosion, foot onto tacks, hurt like hell. They also took tacks and shoved him into Matt's mouth and then uppercutted him, so he spat the tacks out. It was just vicious as hell. But then as we get into the later parts of the match, Kenny Omega was going for the one-winged angel on Bryan Danielson. Yuta makes the save, and then Don Callis gives Yuta the screwdriver, spikes Hangman with it, and then, however, Kenny Omega is about to hit him with the one-winged angel. Then Don Callis gets into the ring, and then a masked man comes in and knocks out Kenny Omega, and it's Konosuke Takeshita. Aligns with Don Callis, aligns with the BCC. Yuta then uses the seatbelt maneuver that was taught to him and gets that to pin Kenny Omega, and the BCC reigns supreme in Anarchy in the Arena 2, and now BCC has Konosuke Takeshita.
All I gotta say, another 5-star match.
Exactly.
Cinnabon for life. I don't eat. I'm not eating that kind of stuff right now, but when I get my next break, I'm having Cinnabon and tagging my boy, my best friend, Konosuke Takeshita in there. And like I said, logically, I was talking to a friend, and he was like, I can't believe, this way. I'm like, Don Callis, if you think about it in a pure wrestling sense, like, kayfabe is the word that is used. So, if you're talking about a wrestling sense, he was Kenny Omega's manager. Him and Kenny Omega were on top of the world champion. Kenny was working hurt. Kenny gets hurt. Don waits on Kenny to get healed. He stands by his side the whole time he gets healed. Kenny gets healed. And does he go back after the world title? Does he go back to being the best in the world? No, I want to tag up with my buddies. I want to tag up with my friends and go after the trios titles. I want to do this and do this. And I'm just enjoying life. Screw that. Let's go get that money. Because you know what? When you're a parasite, the only way you make money, the only way you eat is when your host is eating. And Kenny Omega wasn't as hungry as he used to be. But he did see 6'3", a Japanese buzzsaw. Like, this dude is fighting everybody. He's hanging with Bryan Danielson. He's hanging with Mox. He's like, This dude is hungry and has the talent that Kenny Omega used to. And again, when you're a parasite, parasites got to eat. The only way they eat is to get onto a new host. And he found a new host. And his name is Konosuke Takeshita. He is younger. He is taller. He is stronger. He is more athletic than Kenny Omega. And Takeshita made the right decision. He's going to be eating Cinnabon for life.
Until
he's awakening the demon. He is awakening the one-winged angel. And I don't know if he's ready for that.
Well, and then I don't know if you're ready for him to get his golden lover.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh, God. Yes. But I'm just saying, just like I wanted this to happen because I want to see Kenny Omega versus Takeshita. Yeah. Give me that match.
Dude, it will be unreal. It will be unreal.
Give me that match. Give me Kenny Omega versus Takeshita on the AEW pay-per-view with no time limits or whatever. Give me Takeshita versus Hangman again. You know what I mean? You like this new Takeshita, this like more vicious, because that's what they're going to have to do. He's going to be more vicious. He's going to be willing to cheat. It's going to be great. I just think it just sets us up for a lot of banger matches over the next year. So no, this had nothing to do with any hatred for Kenny. It had more to do with what Takeshita turning means for wrestling. Oh my God, a shot in the arm to this division and everything. It's just, it's next level.
Yeah, it's next level for sure. That, though, was AEW Double or Nothing 2023. I would say it was a really good show, carried by its co-main events that were 5-star bangers. Absolutely outstanding matches. Must watch. Rest of the show was either good or I would say.
Yes. This is the second lowest rated cage match pay-per-view because cage match has become the buzzword over the last 24 hours.
It has.
Yes, 6.6 out of 10. All Out 2020, which I happen to be at, and it was the first show doing that they tried to do with the abbreviated crowd during the pandemic. I believe there were certain people like in the roster. I don't think Kenny Omega was on that show. I don't believe the Young Bucks. Well, the Young Bucks may have been on that show, but the main
Kenny Omega and Adam Page lost to FTR.
FTR
won the title.
Yeah, and then it was like
Young Bucks beat Jurassic Express.
Yes, and then it was Moxley versus MJF. Yeah, in the main event. That was the lowest rated show. Maybe it had something to do with the audience. I know the temperature in the ring was really hot and everybody was super tired and exhausted. Whatever. There's a lot of reasons that have, but that's the lowest rated show. This is now the second lowest rated show in AEW history. When you've been at all shows, you're going to see the bevy of them. The problem is on both of those shows, I enjoyed them. Right. And I saw, I'm not, of course, not going to say any names. Someone saying today, someone said it was a good show, and he was like, well, where would you rate it in AEW history? And I'm like, that's an unfair question, right? So you say Floyd, all right? So pick tacos, steak, or chicken. Put them in order. And I'm like, okay, here's my order. I'm going steak, chicken, tacos. Does that mean I hate tacos?
No, it does not mean you hate tacos.
I mean, I love all three. I just love those two a little bit more. I'm a fan, and this is the one I was going to use, is I'm a fan of Fast and Furious series. Fast Saga is my favorite movie series ever. I know what people think. It's a very polarizing series, right? But it's my favorite movie series ever. If you ask me, what is your least favorite Fast and Furious movie, right? I'll say Fast and Furious, the fourth one, right?
And then, for me, my favorite movie series is the Rocky movies. Yeah. My least favorite is Rocky 5. Not an original thought, but it's Rocky 5 for sure.
That being said, I've seen Fast and Furious 20, 25 times. I fucking love the movie. I don't love it.
I enjoy Rocky 5 so much.
Yes.
That ending fight is outstanding.
So I don't love it as much as the other 9. That doesn't mean I don't love it. So asking that question is kind of a loaded question. It's not getting you the answer that you want. Because just because I didn't like this one as much as ever doesn't mean this is bad. It just means it's not as good as the other one. So would I be willing to say that this pay-per-view was a step down for AEW from what we're usually used to? Yes. But I think when you go from excellent and take a step down, it's still great. When you go from great and take a step down, it's still good. This is a long way from bad.
That's the thing, though, is that like AEW, like the way that it's graded, like it's ironic. Actually, I'll compare this to it's like, with Eminem has said this multiple times. It's like I don't get compared to other rappers, I get compared to myself. So if it's not Marshall Mathers LP or the Eminem Show or the Slim Shady LP, it's trash.
Yes, correct.
If it's not all out, if it's not all out 2021, if it's not Double or Nothing 2019, if it's not like any of these shows, then it's trash.
And that's not how it works.
Not how it works.
That's how
it was a really good pay-per-view, but to AEW standards, they've done better.
Yes,
they have done better. But I think they away from the fact that those last two matches are like some top tier AEW shit, like some of the top matches that this company has put on. Period.
Yes, and I think like, they have deserved the benefit of the doubt. I'm not. You don't get two of these, but you do get one.
You do get one because again, you're what is considered the lowest rated show, All Out 2020, pandemic era. We gave all wrestling benefit of the doubt with that.
Yes.
WWE, AEW, we gave all wrestling the benefit of the doubt with that. This one, again, all the drama, all the bullshit, but there was also some other factors going into the show, and still the show ended with 2 5-star classics. Correct. So I can't shit on it like that, honestly. I just can't.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Everything you're saying is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that will do it for our review. The only match that they've announced for Dynamite, of course, is Chris Jericho, Saraya versus Britt Baker, Adam Cole. That's all we've got for Dynamite going into Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The cage match was the only news, the new added news to it, because not a lot's happened since then. And Tony Khan pretty much in the press conference said nothing. He gave no information.
The one only thing I wanted to say too was MJF basically going after the IWC and continuing his mindset of the you don't care about us. You say you do, but you don't care about us. Like, you would rather see people do these death-defying moves that will probably get them killed at some point than me. You get mad at me because I wrestle a few times a year. Like, and again, he defends that whole argument and also attacks the IWC being like, you were like 7% of our audience.
And,
and
I don't know where that number comes from, but it's true.
Yeah, he's got points. He's got points.
Yeah, and and people will decide what I hate online is that people will decide their opinion is fact.
It's not how it works.
It's like, oh, I thought this match was good, and AEW has a problem. They need to see that they have a problem. Like, okay, I didn't think it was bad. So, oh well, you just got your head up Tony Khan's ass, and I'm like. No, I didn't. I just didn't think it was bad. Like, I don't know what else to do. I enjoyed it, but again, my point of view being in the arena is always going to be different than someone's in TV. Forbidden Door, I'll be watching at home. I will have the experience that a lot of you have, and we'll see how I think from then.
I'm still in the process of possibly seeing if I can make Forbidden Door happen because, again, I live 3 hours or 4 hours from Toronto. And
I absolutely hope you can make it happen because it'd be good to, that someone from the team is there.
For sure. But that's going to do it for this Double or Nothing review episode of All Things Elite. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in every single week. Thank you to Floyd. Thank you to James. Thank you to Jared. Thank you to Sydney. Everyone who was there for Double or Nothing. It was an outstanding time. I loved being with everybody. It was a ton of fun. And I just love the fact that this kind of happened 2 years in a row, that all of us got to meet up and take pictures and do awesome shit together. It was a lot of fun. But Make sure you guys continue to download this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts and give us a follow. Whether you listen to us on Spotify or any podcasting platform, give us a share, a follow. Really does mean the world to us. And also leave a rating and a review. That helps us out a ton. You can follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Summowitz, it's SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And with that, I will pass it off to Floyd so he can take us home for this Double or Nothing episode of All Things Elite.
Yes, I just want you to think of yourself as the, when you think of yourself, you're a wrestling fan, and you're out there, and it's like we're a small but vast group or whatever at times, but people know each other. Just be nice to people, especially when you're at the wrestling things. I know everybody's trying to get their shit in. They want to get to the seat they want the merch they want. Just try to be as courteous to the other people as you want, because like when it comes to wrestling fandom, kind of we're all we got. Everybody else thinks what we do is stupid. So what we like and where we go stupid. So always try to have each other's back. Take care of each other if you can. I know that's the fantasy world to live in, but I'm going to keep preaching it. Watch each other's back. Take care of each other. If someone needs a ride and you're going the same way, why not give them a ride? Someone's in line or they drop something. Make sure they get it back. That kind of thing. Just try to be decent human beings to each other. Because I've always said this. I always want wrestling places, wrestling shows to kind of be a good safe space for wrestling fans. Come on, come one, come all. Take care of everybody. So with that, I will leave you. I always leave you. Whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.